Well, hello and welcome to that Board Game Show podcast. I'm Sonja Wood, and I've been sharing with you in the previous podcast about our Shelves of Ambition mission. So that is going to continue because I have more to share about that. In fact, I have been wondering if other people are finding what we've been finding, and that is, it seems to be that the more we play a game, the more we get from it. The more it gives, the more. We just get so much more from the game when we have played it multiple times. So I've been thinking about that quite a bit. I've shared about that in previous podcasts on this topic of Shelves of Ambition mission. So I thought about it, and I thought, let me chat about how the first play of a game feels. And I can tell you that when we are getting a game on the table for the first time, there's a lot of specific emotions. We get excited. It's a new game. And then there's the reading the rules and learning about the game. So it can be a bit brain-bending and it takes a bit of time. But this is all like the experience of the first time we play a game. The second time has lost a little bit of the excitement of the new, naturally, but we've got to know the game a bit because, we've gone through the first play and figured out some things. And so the second play is a different experience. It has different things to give, different feelings, different experience. And then the third time, there's a new kind of an excitement because now we're really getting to know the game, the mechanics and the characters. Maybe we're discovering things that we weren't before. We're starting to, I'm talking about myself now because when I say we, I'm talking about Jamie and I are the ones that play games mostly. Jamie is my son, and he has that Board Game Show channel where he does the explainer videos and, other videos. We have guests and so on. But if you're wanting to know about any of these videos I'm talking about, most of them he would have done a video on. So if you're wanting to go and find out more about it, that's the place to go to that Board Game Show YouTube channel and just look up the game you're interested in, and you're probably going to find an explainer video because of the fact that most of the games I talk about are games that we have in our personal library, and those are the games that he tries to make videos about. So back to that third play, I was saying by this stage, by the time we've played the game for the third time, I myself start feeling more connected to the theme of the game. So I start getting more out of the theme, whatever the theme may be. Even the artwork, I start noticing details. And if there's characters in the game, you're playing a specific character, I get to know that character. So I just find by that stage, I'm getting even more from the game. And that particular feeling of more and more and more just happens with every play thereafter. So play 4, 5, 6, 7, it just keeps giving. And so I don't know, I don't know if this applies for everybody in this way, but it certainly is my experience of playing a game multiple times. However, that's not to say that every single game we play multiple times, because the truth is we might get a game that we play the first time we think, we're not so sure about this one. And then we played a game just to give it just to give it a chance. And then we played a third time, and then we feel like maybe we should just play it a couple more times. Let's get it up to 5 plays, just to be sure that this isn't a game that is going to be one that's going to go onto our Shelves of Ambition, because the goal, the mission of our Shelves of Ambition is 10 plays. But we're not so stuck with that we say every single game in our library has to be played up to 10 times. What we are saying is the games that we have enjoyed playing, that we must try and play them more and more and more. And as I've mentioned, this has really worked out to be a very good mission that we are on this year, 2023. And that's just because of what I've said, we just keep getting more out of them. Those games that we're not too keen on, they never wasted, because, we keep them and then we get a different kind of pleasure from them. I'll tell you what that is. When we have a game group who comes to play, we would take out a couple of those games perhaps and see if anybody's interested in them. And then we notice something. Wow, those people have really enjoyed that game. That wasn't one that ticked all the boxes for us. So everybody's got their own special preferences and things that they like about games. We know that we love cooperative games, and we know there's others that don't like cooperative games. So if a game is very non-cooperative, or I don't think there's such a thing, if the game is not a cooperative game, and there's other things about it that we enjoy, well, then we will play it over and over. But sometimes it doesn't tick all our boxes, and the more boxes it ticks, the more time it gets on the table, naturally. So let me tell you what's been making it onto the table since the last time I spoke to you about Shelves of Ambition. The one we played on the weekend is Vikings, the board game. Phew, this game has a good chance of being loved and enjoyed because we have Viking heritage. So anything with Vikings immediately gets our attention. But Viking, the board game, is a game about exploration. You're going across land and sea. You have to be sure you're equipped. You've got to equip your longship with all the resources to go on the big, across the ocean, exploration. And then there's resources you collect when you get to land. You fetch exotic resources for trading purposes. Then there's raiding that takes place to get spoils, to gather spoils. But this game ticks a lot of our boxes. But it's not cooperative, so it didn't tick that box. But even so, we have really enjoyed it. And then we also played Airlines Europe. Now again, this is a game that will tick some boxes for us and that gets our attention. One, because we have strong aviation history in our family. So all aviation type games pique our interest. And this game actually is just so cute. It's got these cute little aeroplane minis. So that is very appealing. I enjoy it. And it reminds me a lot of Ticket to Ride, actually. But I would say a little bit more involved than Ticket to Ride. You know, Ticket to Ride, you're laying railroads, and here you're planning flight routes. But it also has some interesting elements, such as you building shares in different aviation companies. It's just interesting. It's a good game. We've enjoyed it. And then we got Pandemic Iberia back to the table. You probably guessed it. You know, Pandemic is cooperative. And so, yes, we love this game. We've played it quite a number of times and have always enjoyed it. I don't think I'll go too much into telling you what Pandemic Iberia is all about. I know that Jamie did such a nice explainer video of that one on that board game show YouTube channel. So if you're interested in knowing more about that one, you can head off there and go and watch it. But another cooperative game that we played is Professor Evil and the Citadel of Time. The artwork on this, it's sort of steampunky kind of design. Basically, we a group of characters that each have their own unique abilities. And as a team, we're working together to try and collect art that Professor Evil has hidden in the Citadel. So you go from room to room trying to find the pieces and collect them. All the while, Professor Evil is also roaming about the Citadel. And while we're getting doors opened to go into a place, he's closing the doors. And it's actually quite interesting and tense and exciting. But we have to try and get as many of these art pieces out of the Citadel before Professor Evil stops us from being able to get them. So it's fun. And there's another game, again, cooperative. You see the theme. We love cooperative games. What can I say? We've got a library full of them. Okay, so the last one that I'm going to tell you about today is The Lord of the Rings. This game, it's got 4 player boards. And we, the characters from The Lord of the Rings, in a 2-player game, being Jamie and myself who played it, were Frodo and Sam. Those are the characters for the 2-player game. And we're traveling through the Lord of the Rings story, starting at the Shire, proceeding on to Rivendell, and then on to the first board, which is Moria, then Lothlorien, then on to Helm's Deep, Shelob's Lair, and finally Mordor, where we have to have survived that long to get there. And then we've got to destroy the ring. So it's quite intense, but we've enjoyed it. I must say that we've only just managed to destroy the ring, and not every time. And it's because it's not easy. But we like that kind of game. That's a challenge and element of excitement and survival. That's another thing we've discovered is we really enjoy survival type games. So that's been added to our list of what do we like, what don't we like. I don't know about other gamers out there, but we are really finding that as the years go on in this hobby, we are discovering what really attracts us and what we really enjoy playing, and those things that we don't enjoy playing so much. So that's been very interesting. As I say, theme gets our attention. And that's another thing I must tell you, is that we do quite a lot of research before we buy a game, and I think that's why most of our games we enjoy playing them. We don't get a game and then are disappointed with it. And I believe that's because we just the kind of people that like to research thoroughly before we spend money. So we always check that game, and we watch videos, which is another part of the hobby that we enjoy. We just like watching videos of people playing board games and telling us about the board game and telling us about the experience and so on. In fact, that's why Jamie does videos, because he just loves sharing this hobby and he loves spreading the joy of it. And that's what his YouTube channel is all about. So there you go. That is today's podcast on our Shelves of Ambition mission. And there are going to be more, because as the weeks roll on, we keep taking the next game off the Shelf of Ambition, getting it up to 10 plays, and then it gets moved across to the library. So, as you can gather, these ones that I've spoken about today are on their way across to the library. In fact, they're not all up to 10 yet. So we've still got a few more plays to play on them, which is wonderful. Okay, well, thank you for listening, and thank you for joining me today here on the podcast. I hope you enjoy some of those videos from on that Board Game Show YouTube channel. And until next time, I shall share with you again. But right now, I am off to make tea, because that is very important, and it's really chilly here. It's winter in South Africa. So I'm off to go and make some tea. Okay, bye for now.